This is a second and third stimulus check update. President Biden is setting new eligibility requirements for the third stimulus check, which will cut out around 30 million people from receiving the $1,400 stimulus check. I'll let you know what those new requirements are. The House of Representatives had a vote for a budget resolution bill, which was won by the Democrats to allow fast tracking of the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. 10 Democrats met with President Biden to form committees to write out the details of the stimulus package. Bernie Sanders was in that meeting. I'll give you the details of what he said from that meeting. Then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. I hope you're having a great day so far. If you appreciate these fact-based, straight-to-the-point updates, then hit the like button down below. Quick unemployment update first. Jobless workers missed out on $17.6 billion in benefits in January because of the delayed stimulus deal that took months and months, way too long. This is around 38% of people on unemployment didn't receive any money yet. So if we look at this chart here, the states in green have already received their money. The states in blue took 3 to 5 weeks delay, and the states in purple haven't received a single dollar of the $300 per week unemployment under the PUA program. So this is horrible that, still these states haven't received any money yet. If you're in purple, in the states in purple, and haven't received any unemployment yet, let me know down in the comments below. Have they reached out to you? Have they updated you on timeline? I'm really curious. And if you have been receiving it, has it been timely? Let me know your thoughts and what's been going on with this down in the comments below. So moving on, the House had a vote yesterday to unlock the partisan path for the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. So this wasn't the big vote yet. They're still having votes for votes for votes. It's kind of confusing, but I'll break it down for you. So yesterday, Wednesday, it was a 218 to 212 party line vote, which was a majority of the Democrats, so the Democrats won that. And this was a bill to unlock special rules in the Senate, allowing Biden's relief package to pass with a simple majority instead of the 60 votes usually needed. And the Senate is expected to take action on the same legislation later this week. This is basically to set up the path so the Democrats can pass the $1.9 trillion stimulus package without any Republican support if it comes to that point. So we're still having, this is probably going to go on for a few more weeks of the votes for the votes. There's a lot of legislation that's behind the reconciliation process. Republican Jason Smith, representative, was not too happy about this. He said Democrats in Washington are setting up a partisan process to have the vice president cast the decisive vote in the Senate on an array of radical policies, saying their plans are to try to use the pandemic to seize more government control of your life. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Is the government trying to control your life? Are they trying to do the right thing and pass stimulus? Is it okay that they're doing this without Republican support or any bipartisan support? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Representative from Hawaii, Brian Schatz, said, "We need to remember what this is all about. This is not about a goofy 10-hour or 12-hour or 15-hour process where we stack amendments and try to set each other up that will somehow trick someone into taking a bad position that can be turned into a campaign advertisement. It is nonsense and everybody should ignore it if they can. Do anything to not watch the vote-a-rama." So basically what he's referring to is that the Republicans can have hundreds of amendments if they want to for this resolution, for these next votes coming up. And they plan on, actually they have hundreds of amendments already prepared for this, which will be for President Donald Trump's border wall, to have the Keystone XL pipeline happen again, as well as a lot of other things. So it's probably going to be messy over the next few weeks, but this is part of the process to set up the reconciliation. Moving on, so President Biden is kind of backtracking now in regards to who gets the $1,400 stimulus check. So he made sure that it's going to be $1,400, but it's not going to everybody. He's actually starting to limit it. So this is the newest version of it is going to be sending $1,400 checks to individuals earning under $50,000 and then $2,800 checks to married couples making under $100,000. So this is very similar to the Republican proposal that they just released a few days ago, Now, before it was 75,000 for individuals, 150,000 for couples. Now it's dropping down to 50,000 for individuals, $100,000 for couples. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Is this a good idea? Is this going to help out more targeted families and people, or should the income eligibility requirement stay at 75,000? And if you are making above the income threshold of 50,000, are you upset about this, or are you okay because you're doing well financially? I'm really curious about your thoughts on this down in the comments below, what people are thinking about this. And according to the GOP proposal, under the same requirements, this is going to cut out 29 million people from getting their stimulus payments. So this is the same income eligibility requirements of 50,000 to 100,000, and this is going to limit 78% of the families who would qualify for relief payment who received the first and second stimulus check. So this is a big deal. He made sure that it was going to be 1,400 so he could keep his promise on the sort of $2,000 stimulus check, but income eligibility requirements seem to be changing. Big question here, when are the stimulus checks going out? This is the latest timeline. So a lot of the White House officials have said they determined to pass legislation before mid-March, when millions of jobless Americans would lose their unemployment benefits. So this is the benefits cliff in mid-March, and this is when they plan on passing it, which is about 6 weeks away. So hopefully it could be done before then, but that's probably the latest of when they would try to pass it, so that there's no lapse in benefits like there was between the first and second stimulus check or stimulus package with the benefits. Moving on, there were 10 Democrats that met with President Biden yesterday talking about committees to set up for the big $1.9 trillion stimulus package, the writing for it. We already know the top line numbers, where money's going, but this is probably going to be a huge bill, and they're writing it all out. So Bernie Sanders was one of them, along with Chuck Schumer, vowing that Democrats are united after the meeting, and he said that there's agreement, universal agreement, we must go big and bold. Bernie Sanders was in this meeting as well, and he talks about what came out of this meeting and some other details that are important that you should probably know about. Here's that clip right now of Bernie Sanders.
I know you were among the committee chairs who actually met with President Biden at the White House earlier today on this COVID relief plan. What sort of progress did you make in that meeting? Where does it stand right now?
Well, I think it stands in a very good place. The point that the president made, that has to be made over and over again, is that we are living in a moment where tens and tens of millions of working class and middle class people are hurting. These are people who are worried about being evicted from their homes. They're worried about feeding their kids. They're worried about being able to afford to go to the doctor. They're worried about seeing their kids get a decent education. They're worried about the need for vaccinations to be distributed faster than they are right now. So we face a terrible, terrible moment in American history, probably worse than any time since the Great Depression. And what President Biden was clear about is that now is the time to keep faith with the American people. The people are hurting. We're not going to turn our backs on them. We're going to go forward, and we're going to start dealing with some of these major crises in an effective way.
As you know, Senator, the president has said he's open to making some stimulus checks more narrowly targeted. Right now, they start phasing out for people earning $75,000, couples earning $150,000. Are you willing, you personally, Senator, to lower the eligibility for these checks? These are people, some of whom have lost their jobs, but many of them are still working.
No. The issue is not, I think, going below $75,000 for an individual or $150,000 for a couple. The issue is that there is some spillover if you have kids, that families making $250,000 or $300,000 may end up getting some assistance. And I think we can eliminate that. But the truth of the matter is these income levels are based on people's income of a year ago or even 2 years ago. Many of those people are hurting today. And the truth is, you could be making a family making $125,000 with a bunch of kids. You are struggling today. So what we have got to do is understand this crisis impacts the middle class, it impacts the working class, it impacts lower income people. We are in this together. Meanwhile, the very, very rich are becoming phenomenally richer. So we need policies now where the government stands up for working families and the middle class, and tells, by the way, the wealthiest people in this country, you know what? You're going to start paying your fair share of taxes.
Bernie Sanders referring to the income threshold, saying that it's $75,000 instead of the $50,000 number that's been thrown around recently. So we're still not sure exactly what the income threshold is. We're getting different numbers from different people. But here is Bernie Sanders' response to gaining Republican support for the stimulus package.
Sounds like you and President Biden are on the same page on this issue. Senator Mitt Romney, as you well know, he says not a single Republican will vote for the current Biden relief bill, the bill that as it currently stands. We know President Biden would like to see some bipartisan support. Do you see that as a priority to make some changes to try to win over at least a few Republican votes?
No. The priority that I see is addressing the crises facing working families. When you got millions of people out there worried about how they're going to feed their kids or how they're going to get enough income to pay the rent, that is the priority that we have to address. And I think as we move down the road, you're going to see people like Romney and other moderate-type Republicans coming on board as we deal with infrastructure, as we deal maybe with the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs in this country. We look forward to that bipartisanship. But right now, tens of millions of working families, middle-class people, low-income people are in crisis. They need help. They need help now. That is the major priority that we have to address.
Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Do you agree with Bernie Sanders? Do you think there should be more action being taken faster? Or do you think everything is on the right course, on the right path, and it's happening the way it should? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Moving on, next I'm going to answer a couple questions you leave for me in the comments. If you have any questions, then type the word question and I'll answer it in the next video. So Nancy McRae asks, Dave, have you ever thought for running for office a little down the road? Never. I would never do that, especially after learning how messy politics are. I love just providing useful info and trying to empower people with my other channels through motivation, inspiration, self-development, as well as financial literacy. So that's my goals. I definitely don't want to run for office. King Brown asks, can you please tell me what the deal is with the Social Security people giving $200 a month? Haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, still nothing yet, which is horrible. You know, how President Biden made that promise, didn't even address it yet. Still haven't heard anything yet, unfortunately. Brian Watts asks, I keep asking, but you don't answer. So I just want to point out, if I don't answer your question, I'm getting like over 1,000 comments a day, and I appreciate your support, but I can't get to all of the questions. So if you ask, I can't always answer it. But what is the plan to pay this back? Is everyone okay with passing this debt to your kids and grandchildren? I await your response. This is a very important question. I agree. It is a very important question. I think that's one of the biggest arguments against a big stimulus package is who's going to pay for it? Our kids, grandkids are going to have to pay off that debt somehow. But let me give you a scenario here. So let's just say you had a husband, wife, brother, sister, son, or daughter who was really sick or had a traumatic accident, and the only way to save their life was to pay for $100,000 surgery. Obviously, you don't have $100,000, but they're giving you the option to take on this debt and pay it off slowly over probably the course of your lifetime. Would you do that? Would you pay this $100,000 or take on this debt to save a life of a family member or loved one? I definitely would, and that's the kind of the way that I look at this situation. There's so many fellow Americans who are struggling beyond anyone could comprehend. I think a lot of people are living in bubbles and they question whether all this money is going to help. I think those people are well off, but the people who are struggling, I think, don't even question, where this money is coming from, how it's going to be paid. And so that's my response to it. I think it's important to have empathy for the people who are struggling most. Gene Riggleman asks, so if the stimulus plan is passed and there is an increase in child care credit, how will we get it if we've already paid our taxes? So what the Democrats are planning on doing is having it go out monthly. So it'll be $250 to $300 per month. Probably when this stimulus package passes, could be mid-March, the latest, hopefully, and then hopefully that just happens where everyone just gets their $250 to $300 per month that way instead of just a one-time lump sum. Amy Rodriguez asks, have they decided on the income limits for the new stimulus? So As I reported earlier, they could say $50,000 income limit, $75,000. We're still getting mixed numbers. The bill hasn't officially been written yet. So once we find out that number, then I'll definitely report it to you. Subscribe to the channel if you want to know the latest updates like that. Also, Christina Luna asks, if a single taxpayer gets $1,400, how much for dependents? So it's going to be $1,400 for adults, $600 for dependents. So that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To brighten your day a bit, here is my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is a tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing when you feel sad, you have to do something that you really want to make you feel better or make you feel true. Or you can also, if you help somebody, then you'll feel even better or something. Or if something's really into you and you're really feeling good, you should do that as well. Bye, this is Bella. This was the tip of the day.
And if you want to learn 5 ways of how to make money from home just with an internet connection or whatever device you're watching this video on, click this video over here. It's on my WhySense channel. And the great thing about this list of 5 ways to make money is you could start with $0 and then you could start making money doing these 5 things. You don't need any money up front to start, no investment, nothing like that. So click that video now if you want to learn some other ways to make money, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.